Hello guys, good morning, good day to every one of you. So I'm basically making this video because the last video I made was not recorded properly. So I had to remake this one. What am I going to talk about? The situation and what I'm experiencing through years of contact and yeah, basically years of contact, in real life and virtual contact with different people around the world, and plus my, let's say, personal researches, which is not just a personal research, because everyone is trying to figure out what's happening, and some of them got to the point, and some others are still wondering things or pointing in the wrong direction. When I say wrong, I don't mean like, yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. No, I'm speaking about just fact. And when you have the information, the more information you have, the, yeah, the real one, because actually we are living inside an era of disinformation, yes, done on purpose by the government. So, um, what I'm going to say is, as you can see in my channel, there are, like, not here but in the other areas, there are in this area I'm speaking about video games, but usually I started recording videos about spirituality and about knowledge I had and experiences I had. So what I want to say is, all the years of gaming had for me particular um, effect, which is being in contact with basically almost every people from every nation. So even if I couldn't meet them in person, not all of them, but I could listen, I could interact, and especially I could listen when they were talking to each others and understand how some of them at least think. So yesterday I had this situation during a session where three German plus one American, I guess, people were talking, and it's just an example, but it's a strong one. Like, the mindset of people, of some people, of course, nowadays it's so very close to Nazist mind back in the day. So, and the sad thing is, many of them are not just in this case. Okay, there were like, they were like three German guys and one American. In the other cases, some of them are also Americans, or even from other countries, which uh, can be also European countries. So what I want to say is that, first of all, that kind of mentality is alive and kicking, is not dead, is not dying, is alive and kicking, probably even getting back on his feet. I'm worried about that. I'm not, I don't know, but it can be. So let's go back to the more historical thing about researches and listening also to others and putting together the pieces, because it was vital for me to understand it. So, okay, here is a map of the world, nothing special, we all know that. But first of all, let me, it's not working. So what I wanted to say is, my main goal was to understand the story behind the story, or the history behind the history, because it never meant make full sense to me, the official version. I always felt like there were pieces missing. Sorry, um, and something was not exactly how it was told. So not just because of the last years, since I'm 37 years old. I mean, like, already 30 years ago I had this feeling, or almost 30 years ago. So it's not a matter of being complotist, or how do you say it in English? I don't know. So it's not a matter of being that thing. It's a matter of just feeling and knowing that it's not the full truth. So okay, let's move on. I recently saw a video. Let me see if I can get it from the this one.
They want from
Sorry, just give me a second. I don't know why he's asking me all of this.
Jerusalem. Why do they
Okay, so let me say that this is not just like I saw this video and yeah, that's the truth. No, it's the last or one of the last pieces of many other pieces that I collected from all the world and observing, trying to understand things. And so I'm not just saying, I'm not just giving this like, oh yeah, this is. It's more like a long time research, trying to not make mistakes. So let me start saying, introducing myself that as a person that until the Twin Towers, I believed in the campaign against terrorism in USA against terrorism and stuff like that. Let's say the propaganda, because in the end it is a propaganda, sadly. Um, I was so convinced and so believing in it that I was training to go into my country, which is Italy, Special Forces, and so on. I won some competitions. I was almost fully in that. But when the Twin Towers came down, since I was exactly, let's say, not studying, but at least being interested in demolition part sometimes, the moment I saw them collapsing on themselves, I had absolutely no doubt about the fact that that wasn't an accident. At least the way they collapsed. I will not say anything else about the main accident. But I have my personal ideas, my personal feeling, and I don't want to express it because I know that I mean, people can always not understand it because I've seen so many things, listening to many people that made sense and not just saying things randomly. But whatever, it's just my feeling. So I simply don't believe in the propaganda. Let's just say this. Okay. So after that, I went into the army after 4 years, 5 years actually. I went into the army anyway, and during the time I was in the army, which was in the end a great period. But I also realized like the good people are fighting in the ranks, and sometimes, but too often, the officers or the ones in charge generally, and the higher we go, the worst it can become. They are totally dumbasses. I really mean it. I don't say like because I have something against officers, or there are also good ones, but it's like 1 on 3 maybe, or 1 on 4. So that's the thing. So in that moment I realized the situation, and I said to myself, no, I will not put my life in the end of these people or of people, and I will put my life at service of God, which was already in my, yeah, in me, basically, in my life path. So okay, then when I got out, basically I was totally changed. And then I studied informatics and did tons of other things that made me open my mind even more, understanding things, researching, being on alert when something was strange was happening, and so on. It's a long story, so I just want to introduce myself a little bit. I'm not sharing the camera right now because I'm half naked and it's 30 degrees, so, and there is no hair. So, but you can see me in other videos. So let's go on. After years of researching, I basically came up to the fact that what is America doing? Basically, America is. Just give me a sec. Basically, America is moving war with, let's say, good excuses. It's making wars to the countries that are not aligning with, let's say, with America, but we will get deep into it. So all the countries that are basically against United States government line of seeing, which is basically conducted by other people behind the government. Let's say agencies, but let's also say um, the people who basically financed the build the creation of cities in United States, which are coming from specific families. It's not just them, but the majority is. So they basically have, uh, let's say, debts or just a strong connection with those people because yeah, they finance the building of the cities, of the main cities, and probably also the others. So basically, all the countries that are not aligning with a certain thing, let's say a certain alignment, they are considered enemies. So when a leader of one of these countries uh, is not yeah is not friendly, let's say, they consider it and they start making a propaganda against that country, and they actually do send secret operators into that country to destabilize and create situation in that country. And I say this after making my own researches and having my personal contact, at least in my country, with this kind of thing. So when you start putting your hands in the stuff they don't want you to put your hands on, some strange things actually start happening. So um, I can definitely say that's absolutely true. They also show it in movies, but sometimes they just you know, people say, okay, well, it's just a movie, but then you realize that there are people and there are real people there, that you can speak with those people and hear their testimonies, and so that all the thing comes down that it's real, to the fact that it's real. So let's say that all the countries that are not aligning, they will be basically, they will create an excuse for the public opinion and the NATO and Europe, whatever, the public opinion in general, to be there. Like, oh, we have a good reason to be there, and that's the reason. Also the Twin Towers was basically a created situation to have the excuse to go there. And you will say, but why? Well, because the people who founded the United States, basically economically founded, supported, let's say. But when I say founded, I mean they paid the materials, they paid the engineers, they paid basically everything, and workers and everything. So they basically founded it. Those people are connected, are mostly connected to a country that is actually on the TV every day, which is Israel. And this video explains exactly the connection between the people who founded Israel, not the Jews, other people that are different kind of Jews, or probably not even Jews. Between these people, the connection between these people, and these people, and these people. So basically, that video explains exactly the connection, the historical connection between Israel founders and UK, and Israel founders and United States of America. And then you can easily see the connection between United States of America and UK, or even Europe. So they are basically acting, let's say, together. Why is that? Because the people who are financing that thing are basically colonizers, and that they're still trying to take over all the world. Basically, I'm not joking. It's not just like, oh yeah, they want to conquer the world. Yes, they do. In a way or another, meaning, you see, like for example, Greece had been into uh, deep debts and they will not be able to recover. Kennedy was assassinated because he knew those things and he was trying to revert the work of these people. He was trying to keep the national bank as a national bank and not as a private bank, because as a private bank you act by your own, basically, especially when you start giving money. You just create a debt, you can't repay the debt, you are basically my slave. Not in the traditional sense, but in the end, if you can't repay the debt, then you have a debt with me, and so I can use you, basically. That's exactly the base of their behavior. This is why United States of America are not the United States of America. They are, the government is answering to something or someone else. The same when they couldn't move. What I want to say, and for you to understand, when they couldn't move directly a war in the country they were interested in weakening, they basically tried with different approaches. They put in place, they set up different approaches like Greece or like debts, basically, so that those countries are not able to stand up by themselves and eventually align with others against them. Basically, not against the United States, against those people. But in the end, yeah, against the United States. So when I went out from the military, from the army service here, it was so clear to me that they were basically placing a strategical basis in Middle East, just to be ready to attack Russia or other countries. So they are just playing basically risiko, let's say, but they do are in the end. So and it's amazing how people didn't, some people didn't realize it yet. But anyway, let's proceed. So I basically said almost everything that is important. The real things are said in this video or also in others, but this is particularly good in exposing the connection between, yet all the historian facts about Hebrews. And it's honest. It's not like, it's not an hatred video. It's not a propaganda video. They are just telling facts, and you just have to listen to it and you understand that it's true. So the point is, um, it's not the Jews itself. It's a specific group, which is the one mentioned in this video. It's a specific group of Jews that basically they are not moving forward, that they are not doing what they're doing for a simple political or a religious reasons, sorry. They are doing it because of mindset and capitalization and control. You will just understand it. It's easy, just look at this video and just reason on everything else that is happening in the world. Like, we think that UK doesn't have an expansion against an expansionist mind. They do have, they still do have the government, the government at least. Germany, well, we can see that. I mean, if you believe what they say and if you believe what the country governments are saying, well, there is no purpose for you in watching this video, probably, because if you didn't question yourself about your government or other governments, well, that's a problem. I can't speak for every single one, but usually the ones that knows things and they are more honest, they try to to stay silent and to not expose themselves too much. So, you know. And the others, when they speak against, for example, I don't know, against Russia or against terrorists or whatever, which in from the other side of the medal it's called resistance, because when someone is attacking your country and you defend yourself, it is resistance in the end. So, and all these countries have been attacked in the last decades. So, but except the yeah, except the wealthiest countries, all the others have been almost, like many of the others, have been under attack in a way or another. Remember, when I say under attack, I don't just mean direct war confrontation. I also mean that. I mean there are many ways of moving war nowadays and weakening a country. So the point is, they try to weaken those countries in the way that they cannot reply back. And then we say, well, but when they come to our cities and they make mess, sometimes they rape, sometimes they steal, sometimes they even kill people, they knife people or they cut people or they do all those things. Yes, that's true. Let me say that, of course, every country has bad people, and in those bad people there are basically two different kind of persons. One person is just crazy, and crazy people are all over the world. So I would like to place all of them on an island all together and let them there, leave them there. But then the second part, the second kind of individual that is acting violent are people that saw violence from basically everyday life from their childhood. So it doesn't make you bad, it just can make you really angry and sad, and especially when you come to an European country and you see the difference and you see that the people, they don't basically care, sorry for this word, they basically don't care a shit about what you have experienced and what is happening into your country. And they even some of them, they even believe in the opposite, in the propaganda, basically in the opposite way of thinking. So one thing is reality that it's happening in those countries, and these countries they tend to look at the TV instead of traveling and see what's happening, or at least getting in touch, or at least doubting their own governments and medias. That's the point. Okay. So if you believe the television stories, well, you should really start. I mean, I cannot convince you, but you should really definitely start thinking with your mind and reasoning on things. Meaning, if we had, for example, yeah, during First World War, when Austrians were invading Italy, Italians set up a very strong defense, bloody defense against Austria. So we were not criminals, that's true, but we defend ourselves, okay? And that was the army, fine. But when during the Second World War, basically the Nazis started to collapse, and the partisans started to rise against them. For them, the partisans were terrorists, and some of them were ex-militaries going wild, or just common people that were supporting the partisans. So it's not different. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. And some people say, well, but these people here, the terrorists, are hiding themselves behind the civils. Well, it's true, but it's a tactic. I mean, if you don't have anything else, I mean, Israel or even America and other countries have a lot of money, a lot of technology, a lot of organization. So if you have just few tools, you just have to use your mind and what you have. So I mean, if they could move a proper war against Israel, they would probably do, or against any other situation. So this is just the more the hottest situation we could speak about. But the fact doesn't change for other countries as well, or other situations as well. It's the point that is it's important to understand. It's not about justifying. It's about if you want to avenge your brothers, sisters, people, defend your country against a tyrant, you to do something. You know? Like if it wasn't about the propaganda, we probably all or almost all already realize it, that they are just defending each other's, and people say, well, but it's not easy to understand. Yeah, me 6 or 10 years ago, I had the chance to go to Israel, and I was myself finding in, like, well, I want to understand what's happening there, because there is something not clear, and nowadays it's clear thanks to many other things and plus this one. So it is clear, and I've been in contact with Israeli militaries online, and uh, for a long time, Americans as well, and also people from Middle East countries. So yeah, people from Middle East countries, when you are in touch with them, they look raging, angry, and the others look like the cool guys. For sure, these people, they saw their brothers, sisters, friends, cousins, and so on dying every day, and being invaded and couldn't almost do nothing. Uh, the other ones are supported by the media, the media stream, the governments, and the money, and so on. And almost everyone is on their side. So you would act like the cool guy as well. So this is the point, that you don't have to look at the front page of the book because you don't know what's inside, what's the story behind it. This is the point of starting reasoning with your own head, your own mind, and start reflecting on things. Because if we stop looking at people as terrorists, we would see like these people are in these countries are basically all farmers or artisans, and they are just common people, even poor people most of the time. They just try to defend themselves, and so you know uh, that's something that we definitely need to understand first. And then, let's go back to the partisans in Italy. The partisans in Italy were people that were coming, even the soldiers, people that were coming from farms and rural life before getting into the army during the Second World War, even the first one. And then they became eventually partisans. So it's the same situation. I really want people to understand. I'm making an example of my country, but I'm sure that almost every country has the same situation. So everyone that opposes a regime or a government is called terrorist. Easy to call him terrorist, but the point is that it's not. So we call terrorist someone that acts with violence, basically, right? But this doesn't mean he doesn't have some rights. And I'm also aware of the fact that in the last decades, the American government agencies and other agencies, even some European ones probably, they set up some situation specifically which made no sense for a resistance act to make people believe in the terrorist story, which doesn't mean that there is no resistance, there is no people fighting back for their countries and trying to fix the situation or revert the situation or avenge the situation, whatever. I'm not saying there is no resistance. I'm saying that many of the situations were created by the United States and the agencies. since people in Europe and even in America tend to generalize, even when they see someone from Asia, they cannot distinguish most of the time between a Chinese, a Korean, a Japanese, or Thailand or whatever. So they tend to generalize. So they see someone that looks Middle East, Arabic, and so it's easy to, I don't know, to hire 5, 10, 20 people from Middle East country, pay them, or having been under your payment and giving them the task to act like terrorists and to set up something. Okay, so they could basically ask some Arabi from this country to maybe someone from the army eventually to dress up like terrorists and stuff like that. So it's, I'm not joking. They actually do it. I'm not joking. They actually do it. It's not difficult. It's difficult just for the people that doesn't understand the real reality about the services, the agencies, the military. Okay, so there are people that are not aware of their own countries. Sorry. Um, yeah, basically all, their own country troops. Yeah, I'm missing the word. Whatever. They're not aware of their country organization, basically organizations and agencies and all the military organization. So some of the people they don't even know there are espionage or anti-espionage areas, agencies in their own countries, or how they work, in which at which level they work, how they and so on. So that said, the people are not even aware. I mean, even in Italy, people, some people still don't understand why we had some people dying from mafia when it's pretty clear, and it's connected. It's also connected to the America and and the foundation of Italy. It's similar. It's a similar story. So sad to say, but it's true. And this is why we have the, as Italians, we have the government we have because it's founded on mafia, basically, with the help of mafia. So even saying this, 30 or 40 years ago, they exposed people, and this is why we had two lawyers basically dying for this that were making researches, and other people as well. So the point is, it's not that you have to be on one side or the other side. The point is, if, when you start searching through the connection between, let's say, also criminal organization and governments and stuff like that, you start understanding how the world is, the system, let's say, is carried through, is based on. And so you can understand who and how are the people that are in some seats. Not just politicians, I mean people that are working in agencies or that they have ideas. There are so many things that I can say, but this is gonna be a very long video if I say them all. And I will just say that what they did in the last decades were, since there were people starting to telling some truths from people that were working inside agencies, they basically came out with documents, and I'm not talking only about Assange, I'm talking about many others before him. He just did the big thing. Other people were already taking some secreted documents outside of agencies, so, and they were sharing it through YouTube or other sources. So what they did to counter this revelation, let's say this revelation of informations, was to mix them up with fake information made up by them, by the agencies' minds, and in the way that also the true ones, they were looking like stupid things to the public opinion. So at the beginning, the real information came out from the agencies. Then they were thinking, well, that's a problem. How can we stop it? and someone came up with the idea, well, let's just do what people always did in the past. Let's mix it up with fake things in a proper way or almost proper way that they look like idiot stupid things. So people will start saying, well, you do believe in fairy tales when they hear someone speaking about trying to reveal a complot or just a situation, let's say. So this is what they did, and it's easy because if you understand how it's like in informatics, like when there is someone building up a strong firewall, there will be someone else trying to breach that firewall. Okay, it's similar concept. The more you reveal, someone else will try to mess it up again, let's say, because they want to defend their own knowledge, information, and they don't want to look naked. Basically, that's the point. Few people, and so goes for the governments. Few people feel okay to be naked in front of others, and I don't mean just the body naked. I mean naked in who they are, because of judgment and things like that. So yeah, in the case of America, well, it's probably gonna be, I mean America government, um, it's probably gonna be a huge judgment, because indeed they actually did a lot of bad stuff. So it's important to understand that every country, yes, every country have its own propaganda, but it's also a common thought. There are also countries that they basically just do their part regularly, and others they just push it a little bit to the limit, too much. When I went into the army, just to share my personal experience, it was 2006, and one of the things that happened, I was in the Italian army. One of the things that happened there, they made all the people with me in to see like a short movie with heavy metal or just metal music or just hype music, with scenes from the war in Iraq or Afghanistan, I don't remember. Well, but anyway, um, it was a video set up from United States Army and sent and shared with America to set up their mindset against, to make it look like launching missiles or bombs on these people were a cool thing. I mean, it's, can you imagine someone making a cool video of people launching bombs on Italy or your own country, houses and farms and even facilities, okay, and make it look like a cool thing? Okay, that's the thing. So if you are honest with yourself and you are not like a politic man in the way that politics is meant nowadays, um, if you're not corrupted, let's say, if you're honest and you don't care about the governments, you just care of the people, it's not difficult to understand what I'm trying to say. So in that case, I asked to get outside and go to pee, and because I couldn't stand there and watch these people watching this video. And YouTube wasn't a fact yet, or at least it wasn't so well developed. I don't remember, but in the end, yeah, that video is still on YouTube. But it's so sad because people believed in it, and now after 20 years almost, even Americans are regretting it. So the fun fact is, if you check between the comments in some videos of American about the war in Middle East, and or even about what's happening now, the veterans, let's say, the new veterans are saying, almost all of them are saying that was a mistake. maybe they are not all of them are saying it directly, but you can feel that they feel it. So and now they are just basically pumping up a new generation. So that's exactly the thing that it's needed, the connection between the elder generation and the new generation, and the new generation need to trust the elder ones in this case, because they are just basically replying what others did and then they regretted it. And okay, so what's the point? The point is that the people I've been listening to yesterday and in some other situations, they really look like fully believing and acting like a human life is not human life, or a specific kind of human life is not a human life. So at least in words, they are speaking and acting like killing a civilian just because it's a civilian, or killing a civilian, or killing someone just because it has a label on him saying terrorist or whatever, or just a different people with different way. They were also mocking Indians, they were mocking people in general. And you say, well, they are just kids. Yeah, but the kids, they grow up. They grow up and they vote and they eventually maybe go to war or support one part or the other. So they're not just kids or youngers. So we need to understand that saying they are just kids or they are just young, it's not helping. It's not helping because, as I said, they grow up later. And they might change their mind, but they can also not be. And if the whole work on the people education mindset and on will improve in the bad way, they will eventually reach the point where they will not even feel their consciousness, they will not even feel probably bad for doing something. It's the same of people killing an animal and not feeling bad just because their father told them it was okay when they were young. Okay, yeah, some people, they probably actually don't feel anything. Some other, they do, but they had to hide it and cover it because they didn't like it. And I've met many of both, so I know that it's true. So this is the point. We have to stop the people that are acting like robots. How? I don't know. I just know that we need to stop them. Because even if they are not robots, they are acting like them. And we all know that that is not a good thing. Okay, I think I'm done for now for this video, so I strongly recommend, of course, to watch this video from Eternal Passenger. Famous historian exposes Israel facts and Israel future in the Quran. Okay, they just basically, this is the religious part, but this is basically the video is not a religious video, it's a fact video. This is why I decided to share it, because it's very, very gold in explaining things. It's very gold. And just to close the fact, it's important for all of us to understand the difference between acting because you basically have no other choice, or acting because you want something, which is different. Okay, I hope everything was clear, and my English sometimes is not perfect, but I think you understood. See you, and let me know if you have something to share. Bye.